Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. Here I'm talking about WRC 10. It will be Nacon's final offering to the WRC franchise before it's taken over by Codemasters for 2022, and before this developer goes on to finish off the next test drive game, Solar Crown, let's talk a bit about what their final WRC title is going to look like. Celebrating 50 years of the WRC, it's going to include what they're saying are 19 rallies that have shaped the history of the WRC. They've said historic events include the Acropolis and San Remo, and also the likes of Spain. But I've got to be honest, as much as that sounds awesome, for me a lot of it's just going to be stages that are already in the base game, but in addition to that, where it says things like San Remo, which isn't in the WRC and hasn't been in the WRC since 2003, I am properly excited. They're going to be having the rallies that are in the 2021 calendar as of right now, which are Croatia, Estonia, Belgium, and, of course, the Acropolis. And they're also saying they've got Spain. Now, Spain itself was actually in WRC 8, and the Super Special stage made a return from WRC 9 as DLC. I'm interested to see what it's going to look like. Is it going to be like the stages that we saw in the likes of 8 and 7, or, because it's moving back to a fully sealed service event, are we going to be seeing a change in what the stages look like? Is there going to be some familiarity with fans of previous titles, or is it going to be completely different? That is what I'm really looking forward to. In addition to this, the WRC.com release, which I will include in the description below alongside the teaser trailer for it, says that it will include the Alpine Renault A110 to the Audis and Lancias of the Group B era, the Subarus, Toyotas and Mitsubishis of the 90s, and then the current generation of rally cars from Hyundai, Toyota and Ford. Subaru and Mitsubishi haven't featured in any of these games, whereas the rest of these all have. Be surprised if they don't carry over some other previous offerings, such as the Citroen C3, which they had as a Pirelli development car last season, or here's one that's been very odd, but they have included the past couple of games, the Proton Iris R5. The one that's not technically in R5, but it does compete in national rallies alongside R5s. A bit like the Mitsubishi Pace Star that we see in Dirt Rally 2.0. But another thing that's pretty cool in here is they're going to have a My Team mode. A bit like what we saw in F1 that got a lot of acclaim last season. You're going to be able to design your car and create unique liveries. It's a good way to do a send-off, and I'm glad they're pulling out all the stops for this final edition of their WRC game. It comes out in September, so it means they've got plenty of time to work on what they will expect from the likes of Croatia and IPA. Though, of course, in particular IPA, there are so many things they could already build on for it, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw names like Langemark on the game. And in addition to that, they are doing some more of a physics overhaul, so I'm interested in seeing how that turns out. But really, for me, it's the final offering they're going to be doing before Codemasters takes over, and I've got to tell you what, it will be a bit emotional. For me, the WRC games, I love both of the series that there are. So there was one that ran through the first one to Rally Evolved, which was the fifth one in the early noughties, so from 2001 to 2005. And then there's this one, which started in 2010. It's been through a lot, and it's had several different development teams going through it, and it's going to be a shame to see this series go from what Kyloton have. I've got to say, I really hope that we see more rally games being made, and it is a bit concerning for me that it looks like we're heading towards a monopoly where Codemasters, who are going to have the WRC license and make dirt already, are the only ones making the out-and-out rally games. We need more people to do that. We need more developers to do that. And as much as I love RBR, one of the good things about sim racing is this competition. If you look at the circuit racing areas, for example, you've got R Factor, you've got iRacing, you've got Assetto Corsa, and if you look for GT3 racing, you've got ACC. Of course, also GT4s and a couple of other little bits and pieces. And I've got pretty much all of these. You've got AMS as well, or even if you're looking for something a lot more casual, something like Project Cars 2, or even Project Cars 3 if you're looking for something a lot more arcadey, you've got the likes of Forza or Gran Turismo. We need something else for rallying. And I know we're going to have a new Dakar offering, which I really hope works out, because the Dakar games I played as a kid were absolutely fantastic. But we need to make sure there's more of a demand for new rallying games, rather than it being whatever Cody throws out and then a mod tacked onto what's nearly a 20-year-old game in RBR. It's awesome, but we risk getting left behind by sim racing at large if we don't ask for more from the developers. So I am going to miss this series, warts and all. Let's see what WRC 10 brings. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.